And good morning. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. It's been a while since I have done a podcast. And the reason why is because I decided, after a lot of thought, to leave California. Now, I went to California in December of 2023 with the sole purpose of helping small business in the state of California. My problem is, when I got there, I didn't realize how bad a shape small businesses were in California. They are broke. They are devastated. They don't know if they want to even stay. Yesterday, I was talking to a client. He's been my client for over 15 years. And he said, maybe I should start looking to leave California. It's really tough here. He was down. He was out. His spirit was almost broken. Well, that's how the feeling is in California with small businesses in general. We just saw that SpaceX is moving their facilities out of California, so there will be no more Tesla, no more SpaceX being made or manufactured in the state of California. Why? Because the state has become a communist type state. Schools there will no longer tell parents if their children become gay or express gay or express that they want to be transgender. They will not tell their parents. And this is a mental health issue that needs to be addressed by the parent, not by the school, but by the parent. So Elon Musk decided, I'm not gonna stand with this. I have my children. I'm not gonna stand for the state of California destroying my rights as a parent. And it's not just that, but we saw that gasoline taxes went up again in the state of California. We saw the price of gasoline went up again. I'll tell you what the difference is, okay? When I filled up in Los Angeles to move to Las Vegas, and let me tell you why. First of all, let me tell you why I moved to Las Vegas. One, no state taxes. Cost of living is much cheaper. When I was filling up my U-Haul truck to move out of Los Angeles, I was paying over $5.75 a gallon. When I get here, it's $3.45 a gallon. So you have to think very carefully, and which I did. I could no longer afford to live in the state of California. I could no longer help businesses in California because they were so broke. They could no longer afford services of an advisor. They were just barely making it. The cost of a affordable affordable housing. I looked at a place just down the street where I was living in Los Angeles. Affordable housing for a one bedroom apartment was $2,700. That's not affordable. I get to Las Vegas, and I have a 2-bedroom apartment, very nicely done, for $1,500. Really, it's $1,300, but since I have pets, it went up a little bit. But I could no longer afford to live in the state of California, and I knew that it was nearing an end, so I decided to move. And so I moved to the state of Las Vegas, only because it's close to my clients in California. If I need to visit them, I can get in a car or get on a plane and be there in 45 minutes. But I could not afford to live in the state of California, where housing now, the median price house is $900,000. Who can afford that? Our problem at the moment is we are in this dirty, rotten, corrupt, political system. Excuse me for my coughing, but my body is getting used to this heat here and also the dust in the air. And we have a dust storm happening yesterday, and I think it's settling down now into the ground. But this is a problem, is that we are in this dirty, corrupt political system. Joe Biden just stopped his campaign. Now we have Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the most leftist, most liberal politician in Washington, D.C. She was bad as an attorney general. She was bad as a district attorney of San Francisco. She was bad as attorney general of California. She is bad as a senator. No one in the state of California likes her. And I don't understand why she keeps getting elected, except that the powers of the Democratic Party are very powerful here in the state of California. If they want somebody voted, there's a way to do it. If they want them in office, there's a way to do it. And now we're seeing the same thing happening with her, as she is the vice president, which she has done nothing, has accomplished nothing as a VP. Every assignment that she has been given, she has failed at. She hasn't done anything. We have millions, not thousands, but millions of people coming across the border under her watch, under her responsibility. Everything that was assigned to her has been a failure. Yesterday, she was supposed to be, as the president of the Senate, she was supposed to be there when the Prime Minister of Israel was to speak before the joint houses of the Senate and the Congress. And where was she? At the sorority conference that she was speaking at. What is more important? A friend to the United States? An ally to the United States? Or sorority? I just don't get it. So as we get into this deep, dirty, rotten politics, think about the issues that you and I have to face every single day. That is a cause and effect of government. Bad decisions, bad policies by both the Biden and Harris camp. Whatever disaster that Biden has created, Harris was a part of it. So she needs to be held accountable. So let's talk about these issues that affect us every single day. Inflation. Food prices keep going up. Gas prices keep going up. Unemployment. Layoffs. Closing of stores. There was a major electronic and appliance store that announced yesterday that they were shutting down the company for bankruptcy, and they're closing 500 stores. How many jobs do you think that ends? We're seeing this more and more, where companies can no longer function in this type of economy. Consumers, you and I, are no longer buying. We are trying to survive. We're trying to keep food on the table. We're trying to keep our families together. We're trying to keep our businesses going. And it's tough. It's hard. But if you talk to Biden, if you talk to Kamala Harris, they don't really seem to care. The total message of the Democratic Party is abortion and hate against MAGA. That's the two messages. You have not heard from them about the economy. You have not heard from them that we have banks that are undercapitalized. We haven't heard that we have banks just about on the brink of closing. You never hear about the pain and suffering of the American people. You never hear about the economy as general. They never talk about the economy. Never. Because they know that they have failed at it. And I must say this, I don't think I've heard Trump talk much about it either, except that he is going to do something about inflation. But we have a nation that's in financial collapse at the moment. We have more cars being repossessed than any other time. We have credit cards at the highest level of debt that Americans have ever experienced in their life. Our national debt is so high that the interest on it for the month of June, $148 billion, growing by the day. We have all of these issues that are just about ready to hit us even harder. If banks begin to collapse, what does that do to our money? What does that do to our lives? Banks collapse and we are unable to get to our funds. How do we buy groceries? How do we buy gas to get to work? How do we do anything to pay our utilities? We have issues. We have economic issues that need to be addressed very quickly before it goes sour really fast, and the American people are then faced with higher inflation, no cash to spend, nothing. And the national debt leads America closer and closer to bankruptcy. Democrats are not even talking about the economy. It's abortion and extreme MAGAism. Abortion and extremism. That's what they're talking about. The economy they don't care about because they don't understand it. They don't know what's going on. And I even say right now, I think it's time that we stop and sit down and talk about, is the Federal Reserve a viable institution anymore? What are our options? And what options can we put on the table to discuss to make our economy stronger? The jobs that are being placed into the jobs report are not public sector jobs. They are jobs with the government, and that is the wrong direction of jobs. We do not want to increase the size of government. It's time that we start saying, okay, how do we cut these expenses? And I've told you this before. If you're in business, what is the number one and the highest amount of expenses that you have? It's salary and wages and benefits. Those three things. Same thing with the government. Our highest amount of expense is wages and salaries, benefits, retirements, and union dues, union fees. We are in debt to the hilt, and it's time for a change. So as you start listening to Kamala Harris and Mr. Trump, just remember, we have issues on the table that need to be talked about, that need to be resolved, that need to be focused on. In order for you, as Americans, and as a nation, to survive, because we're all in survival mode at the moment. We have problems in this country. We have terrorists called Antifa tearing down statues, burning flags in the nation's capital, and you hear not one word from the Democrats. A group of Republican senators went to where they tore down and burnt the American flags yesterday, and they raised American flags and sang the Star-Spangled Banner. This destruction of Antifa always happens every time we have an election, and it's never talked about, never discussed, never condemned from the Democratic side. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, donate to these Democrats heavily. I hate to be anti-Democrat. I hate to be it. But what I'm seeing is more and more criminal activity, more fraud, more corruption coming every single day. Now we have Act Blue, which is funneling money, which is money laundering, donating in older people's names thousands of times, millions and millions of dollars. If you want to follow the money, it always leads back to the Democrats. Act Blue needs to be shut down. If they are funneling money, if they are laundering money, we now have a serious situation. So, in closing, let me say it one more time. Yes, you have a candidate named Harris. Yes, you have a candidate named Trump. But we have problems right now that government needs to focus on and address. Otherwise, we are going to be in deep trouble in the next few weeks and months. Listen, if you like my podcast, please like, subscribe, donate, whatever you want to do. Talk with you soon. This is Mike Lodge. I am the Business Advisor. Bye-bye.